Ekiti State government has approved 76.6 million as vehicle and housing loans for primary school teachers in the state, and the approval comprises vehicle loans for 49 teachers and housing loans for 72 beneficiaries. The chairman of the Ekiti State Universal Basic Education Board, Professor Femi Akimumi, said the gesture was part of Governor Biodun Oyebanji's administration's commitment to improving teachers' welfare and boosting their morale. A statement issued in Ado-Ekiti on Thursday said incentives for educators were critical to the delivery of free and quality basic education. This is coming after the SUBEB chairman said the state government had earlier disbursed 200 million naira under the revolving loan scheme to enable more teachers to benefit from the program, and also commended the governor for his commitment to the education sector, particularly in the areas of infrastructure, development, manpower, and staff welfare. He urged beneficiaries to utilize the loans judiciously and reciprocate the gesture by demonstrating greater commitment and dedication to duty, while the permanent secretary in SUBEB, Mr. Michael Omolayo, who provided a breakdown of the loan, said 43 million naira was approved as vehicle loans for 49 teachers, while 33.6 million was approved as another tranche of housing loans for 72 beneficiaries. Ekiti State government has appealed to residents to utilize the Ekiti State Emergency Medical Services and Ambulance System for on-the-site treatment and or rapid transport of illnesses or injuries requiring urgent medical attention. The Commissioner for Health and Human Services, Dr. Oyebanji Filani, said the development would ensure prompt treatment of illnesses and injuries, as well as prevent avoidable deaths in homes, workplaces, and on. Enga Igotun spoke in Ado-Ekiti on Thursday during the quarterly meeting of the Ekiti State Emergency Medical Treatment Committee, comprising stakeholders in the healthcare delivery system, adding that the ambulance service was not for road accidents alone, but for all forms of emergencies, including maternity and domestic cases. The state coordinator, Dr. Olumide Obe, said SEMSAS is an organization that deals with emergency response in the state, and there was political will to ensure quality emergency ambulance services in the state in collaboration with stakeholders, and the committee was yielding results. This is coming after Fulani had recently said the Oyebanji administration had prioritized the health needs of Ekiti residents over the past 3 years, resulting in significant investment in the sector. Benue State Governor Hyacinth Alia has reviewed plans by the state government to set up an energy commission that will oversee and coordinate energy investment. Governor Alia made this known in Abuja during the Rural Electrification Agency roundtable engagement with Benue State under the theme "From Strategy to Accelerating Private Investment in Benue State's Renewable Energy Ecosystem." He said the proposed commission would function as an independent body tasked with coordinating energy projects, attracting funding, simplifying approval processes, and ensuring the effective use of investors' resources, adding that the commission would act as a central platform for energy investment in the state. He also said the industrial zones and business enterprises will benefit from stable power supply, lower operating costs, and increased investment inflows, while schools and hospitals powered by solar energy will experience uninterrupted services, thereby improving the quality of education and healthcare delivery. Governor Alia further said the growth of electric vehicles, electric motorcycles, and compressed natural gas (CNG) transport systems would help cut
sales of the emergency vehicles becomes useless. So first thing first, and that's what we have been able to do. As we speak here, we're already in procurement process of rehabilitating and furnishing 14 of our health centers. The representative of the nurses has said problems. Let me just tell you this. Nobody can solve our problems. And people take this for granted that even if you give a president 40 years, life president, people like Museveni, Uganda, they can't solve our problems. As far as we are living, problems will come up. What's important that you are focused and you do the best you can do. When you leave office, another person will come and continue from where you stop.
The minister also directed the FCTA chairman of civil service to employ health personnel in health services, promising that his administration would do all possible to give FCT residents the best health services they deserve, while appealing to both FCTA staff, seniors and juniors, to work diligently for the progress of Federal Capital Territory.
The representative of the resident doctors has said staffing. The chairman of service is there. We have given approval. Sorry, head of service, I didn't know. ESFCD. The head of service, I mean chairman, have been directed to employ personnel for the health services. And for us, we will do everything humanly possible to give our people the best. When I came, this FCT idea was 9 billion naira, 9 billion a month. Today, by the grace of God, we have hit not less than 30 billion naira every month. And what is called performance? What is called performance? So if we have 30 billion, and then we remove 2 billion naira to augment for salary, and that was okay. Remove another 12 billion naira for infrastructure. And then the remaining one, you have to run the moment you see 5 billion naira in the account, you remember that something that was not paid in 2015, it is clear that they will pay it. That is not a way. That is not the way it's supposed to be. So I appeal to you that the future of this country is on all of us. Mr. President is doing the best he can do. But you can also support by being progressive minded. So I appeal to all of you, senior staff, management staff, and digital staff. Nobody will sit to say, look, you're not entitled to get what you're entitled to. Nobody will do that, except that person will be an extremist. So I appeal to all of you to have a reconsideration and allow peace to reign around the development of our city.
Speaking earlier, the Mandate Secretary for Health and Environmental Services, Dr. Adedolapo Fashawe, commended the Minister for demonstrating a clear understanding of health systems, adding that the healthcare goes beyond buildings and infrastructure.
This initiative goes beyond the provision of just ambulances. It reflects our commitment to people-centered governance, emergency preparedness, and improved health outcomes for all who reside in the FCT. Under the focused leadership of the Honorable Minister, we have been able to see strategic investment in road infrastructure across the whole city. This has directly impacted on healthcare. For example, in areas like Abaji, Kwali, Gwagalada, the A2 to Pi construction has made a journey that used to be 1.5 hours when we resumed here. Now that journey is about 30 minutes. Also important to say that this administration has demonstrated a clear understanding of health systems. The truth, I must say, is that health systems is not only infrastructure and buildings. It consists of immunization, insurance, and most importantly, human resource in health.
Federal Capital Territory FCT striking unions have continued their industrial action despite a court order compelling them to resume work. This is coming after the Federal Capital Territory Administration, FCTA workers under the Joint Union Action Committee, JUAC, on January 19 began an indefinite strike over unresolved welfare concerns, and the union embarked on the industrial action to appeal for urgent action to resolve the welfare issues affecting their morale and productivity. The Nigerian Union of Teachers, NUT, and the Nigerian Union of Local Government Employees in Norgay joined the strike on Monday in solidarity with their counterparts at the Federal Capital Territory Administration, while the workers are demanding for the payment of 5-month wage awards, outstanding 2023 and 2023 promotion arrears, full payment of 13 months hazard allowance and 22 months rural allowance for health workers. Other demands include remittance of pension and National Housing Fund deductions, stoppage of intimidation of workers, improved staff welfare and working conditions, while the National Industrial Court in Abuja had on Tuesday ordered the FCT workers to suspend the strike pending further bearing in a suit brought by the FCT authorities to stop the industrial action. Judge Emmanuel Subelim issued the order in a ruling on an application filed by the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, and the FCTA, and the suit has Wike and FCTA as claimants, while the leader of the striking unions, Rifkatu Lotia, and Abdullahi Umar Saleh are defendants. When contacted, Lere Olayinka, the Senior Special Assistant on Public Communication and New Media to the FCT Minister, said those who declared the strike have resumed. Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, FCT, Nyesom Wike, has cautioned striking staff members of the FCT administration, asserting that the mere filing of a notice of appeal against a court ruling does not constitute an automatic stay of execution. While workers had returned to work on Wednesday, they got a notice of continuation of strike from their union, which premises its decision on the basis of an appeal filed on its behalf by its legal team. This is coming after Justice E.D. Subelim of the National Industrial Court of Nigeria had on Tuesday mandated that the industrial action initiated by the Joint Unions Action Committee (JUAC) be suspended immediately following a case instituted against the union by the FCT administration. Speaking on Thursday during the official distribution of 12 new ambulances to hospitals across the territory, the minister addressed the ongoing industrial friction involving union, while the union recently initiated a strike following legal disputes regarding welfare and leadership and administrative structure of the FCT civil service, including controversies over the tenure of certain officials and the implementation of the FCT Civil Service Commission Act. Wike expressed disappointment over the results to a litigation and strikes, suggesting that some elements within the workforce may be acting on political motives rather than genuine labor grievances, stressing that his administration has remained open to dialogue and has already met the majority of the workers' demands. Nigerian Air Force has launched investigation into reports of civilian casualties following an air operation on Sunday, January 25, 2026 in Kurugi Village, Kontong Koro, District of Mariga Local Government Area, Niger State. A statement by Nigerian Air Force spokesman, Air Commodore Ehimen Ejodame, described the allegations as grave and expressed deep concern for those affected, stressing that the protection of non-combatants remains central to the service's operational conduct. He said the Air Force has activated a civilian harm accident and investigation team to conduct an immediate and comprehensive probe into the incident, guided by the principles of accountability, responsibility, and transparency, and also assured Nigerians that the Air Force will take responsibility where necessary and implement corrective measures based on the findings of the investigation. The Air Force has been conducting sustained operations in parts of Niger State to support ground troops in tackling banditry and other security threats. Over recent years, the military has strengthened civilian protection frameworks, including the Civilian Harm Mitigation and Response Action Plan, following concerns about civilian casualties during counterinsurgency and internal security operations. Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) has concluded arrangements for the smooth conduct of the forthcoming Kano State House of Assembly by-elections for Kano's municipal and Ungogo local government state constituencies. The by-elections were necessitated by the demise of the two lawmakers representing the constituencies, creating vacancies in the state legislature. The resident electoral commissioner, REC for the state, Ambassador Abdullahi Zango, said over 10 political parties had expressed interest in to participate in the exercise, and INEC is fully prepared for the polls with arrangements in top gear to guarantee a smooth, credible, and hitch-free election. Zango urged eligible voters to turn out en masse on the election day, assuring them of a level playing field for all the contestants, stressing that the by-elections are aimed at restoring equitable representation in the assembly and strengthening grassroots democratic governance. Zamfara State Police Command has intercepted a vehicle conveying 954 explosive materials suspected to have been intended for use by bandits operating in the state. The command spokesperson Yazid Abubakar, who disclosed this in a statement, said the driver Mustafa Muhammad had been arrested, while operatives of the task force on illegal mining, acting on credible intelligence, carried out the operation, which led to the recovery of 954 pieces of suspected explosives concealed in polyethylene bags. Abubakar said the suspect remains in custody while the recovered exhibits have been handed over to the police explosive ordnance disposal unit for safekeeping and further analysis. He also said investigations were ongoing to determine the source, destination, and intended use of the explosives, as well as identify any accomplices. The interception occurred less than a week after a similar incident in Oyo State, where police operatives stopped a truck loaded with materials suspected to be explosive components in the Saki area of Oke, Ogun. Senators constituted an ad hoc committee to investigate alleged growing decadence in the operations of Nigerian Railway Corporation after the development followed the adoption of a point of order raised by Senator Abdul Ningi, PDP Bauchi, at plenary on Thursday. Ningi citing order 42 personal explanation of the state's standing rules and called on the attention of his colleagues to what he called the tragic history of the railway situation, particularly in the Kano and Kaduna rail lines. He said Nigeria cannot continue to allow decadence of its infrastructure and scarce resources and urged the Senator Adams Oshomole's committee that is saddled with investigating the decadence of the railway system in Nigeria to investigate the serious revenue challenge faced by the Nigeria Railway Corporation. He said the challenge in operation was also caused by the destruction of coaches by bandits, and the funds are yet to be provided to replace the damaged coaches, I beg your pardon, adding that the federal government would provide funds to revamp the railway services. The Senate President Godswill Akpabio, who upheld the point of order, urged the ad hoc committee to return its reports to plenary in 6 weeks. House of Representatives has adjourned plenary for 2 weeks to enable various committees of the House to focus on the 2026 budget defense of all ministries, departments, agencies, and government parastatals. The adjournment followed a declaration by the Speaker, Honorable Tajuddin Abbas, during plenary that the adjournment is for the House to focus on one of the most important duties of the legislature, which is budgeting for governance. The leader of the House, Honorable Julius Ihunvere, moved the motion for 2 weeks adjournment, and it was seconded by Honorable Jonathan Befi, a member representing Karu and Kokona and Kefi Federal Constituency of Nasarawa State.
It's my pleasure to invite the leader of the House to move for the House to adjourn plenary. We are adjourning for 2 weeks.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It is my pleasure to move that the House do adjourn plenary for 2 weeks. And in those 2 weeks is the prayer of the leadership led by the Speaker, that you see no evil, you speak no evil, and you meet no evil. And after 2 weeks, we'll reconvene plenary at this venue, 11 a.m.
Right Honorable Speaker, my honorable colleagues, I rise to second the motion that we adjourn for 2 weeks to consider the budgetary process. I so move.
Honorable colleagues, those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. Honorable colleagues, this House has adjourned for 2 weeks to resume on the 17th of February. And within these 2 weeks, as we have earlier mentioned, we'll dedicate for budget defense. In every democratic legislature, elected authority must operate within a lasting institutional framework. This framework is upheld by procedure, order, records, and professional administration. The office of the clerk stands at the heart of this responsibility. It provides continuity beyond electoral cycles, safeguards the legitimacy of parliamentary decisions, and ensures that debate, disagreement, and consensus all occur within lawful bounds. Dr. Danzaria served in this sensitive office with clarity, discipline, and restraint.
Started very early and has paid his dues to the Federal Republic of Nigeria. We wish this young man had more time to keep serving. But we are happy that he served meritoriously, satisfactorily, efficiently, well.
I am happy that this chamber is celebrating one of Nigeria's finest. And I am happy to be associated with your person, our dear clerk, Dr. Yaya Danzaria, who would stop at nothing to attend to every and any issue you bring to his notice.
House of Representatives has urged the federal government to address the scourge of hunger across the country through coordinated harmonization of the various poverty reduction schemes currently being implemented in the country. The decision of the House followed the consideration and adoption of a motion of urgent public importance moved by Yobe lawmaker Mrs. Khadija Ibrahim during a plenary session, adding that about 139 million Nigerians, representing 61% of the population, are living below the national poverty level, with projections suggesting this figure could reach about 141 million by 2026 due to economic pressures, including inflation and weak growth. She said the country is facing a severe food security challenge, with the United Nations World Food Preparation Program projecting that about 35 million Nigerians will face severe food insecurity in 2026, the highest on the African continent, while the Northeast, which is predominantly agrarian, is the worst hit, stressing that for several years farming activities were severely hindered due to insurgency, displacement of rural populations, destruction of farmlands, and loss of productive assets. The lawmaker further said a large number of farmers remain unable to resume full agricultural activities due to a lack of access to inputs, financing, extension services, irrigation facilities, storage, and rural infrastructure necessary for agricultural recovery. She also warned that failure to fully reintegrate displaced farmers into existing agricultural recovery and food security initiatives will continue to entrench for poverty, hunger, and dependency in the region, with negative implications for national food sufficiency, economic stability, and peace-building efforts. House of Representatives have passed for second reading the 58.47 trillion naira appropriation bill for the 2026 fiscal year. Leading the debate, House Leader Julius Ihonvere said the development without sustainability is merely temporary, while economic growth often comes with difficult and painful adjustment. He urged lawmakers to support the budget proposal while calling for a significant portion of the bill of the previous fiscal year. Following the debate, the Speaker put the question to a voice vote as lawmakers unanimously passed the 2026 appropriation for second reading.
Put ideas together, recommit to a better Nigeria, we build a kind of socio-political, economic, cultural environment that will encourage Nigerians in their respective constituencies and communities to reach the highest points of their creative and productive abilities. When we're able to do this, Nigeria will be a better place, not just for us, but for generations to come. It will also encourage those that will come into power well into the future to build on the achievements of the present government, legislators, businessmen, and women, and prioritize the welfare and security of our women and children, the bedrock of the Nigerian nation state. So I invite you, my dear colleagues, to support this budget as presented and to keep hope alive and recommit that we have an opportunity to join the government, we are part of the government, to join the executive in this budget of consolidation, renewed resilience, and shared prosperity.
You all know that 70% of this budget we are talking about has already been debated earlier in 2025. Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it.
Federal government has budgeted over 13.12 billion naira for the procurement of arms, ammunition, and related equipment for Nigeria's security agencies in the 2026 appropriation bills. Budget documents show that a total of 13.12 billion naira has been allocated across key security institutions for weapons acquisition and protective equipment, and under the proposal, the Ministry of Defense will receive 688.8 million naira for the purchase of arms and ammunition for the armed forces, while the Defense Headquarters is allocated 1.46 billion naira for similar procurement. The Nigerian Air Force accounts for the largest share of the allocation, with 6.13 billion naira set aside for various aircraft platforms, arms, and ammunition, while the Nigerian Immigration Service has 702.7 million naira for arms, ammunition, webbing, and ballistic protection equipment, and Nigeria Police Force will receive 1.3 billion naira for arms, ammunition, and protective gear. The Department of State Services is expected to spend 1 billion naira on arms and ammunition under the 2026 budget, while other beneficiaries include the National Park Headquarters, which is to procure 100 firearms and ammunition with 68.8 million naira, and the Nigerian Defense Academy, which will deploy 253.5 million naira for the acquisition of automatic rifles and magazines for cadet trainings. The allocations follow a sharp decline in Nigeria's spending on arms and ammunition in 2025. Police Service Commission has approved the promotion of Assistant Inspector General of Police, Funsho Adegboye, to the rank of Deputy Inspector General of Police. A statement on Thursday by the PSC spokesman Toti Carlo said the commission also approved the promotion of Commissioners of Police Danjuma Aboki and Dan Sabo ED to the rank of Assistant Inspector General of Police, while Commissioners of Police Danjuma Aboki and Dan Sabo ED were promoted to the rank of Assistant Inspector General of Police. Their promotions followed the rigorous and merit-based process, including successful written examinations and oral interviews conducted by the Commission, and the Commission approved the promotion of 26,119 inspectors to the rank of Assistant Superintendent of Police 2. Reeling out the profile of Adegboye, Carlo said before his promotion, Adegboye served as the Assistant Inspector General of Police in charge of the Police Mobile Force at the Force Headquarters, Abuja, and also served the United Nations missions in Kosovo, Liberia, Timor, and Somalia. Also, he said Aboki was, until his promotion, the Commissioner of Police in charge of the Imo State Police Command. Police have recovered a 7.7 billion naira cyber-enabled telecommunications fraud, arresting 6 suspects accused of illegally diverting airtime and data belonging to a telecom company. The operation was conducted by the National Cybercrime Center following a petition from the affected company, according to a statement by the first public relations officer, Benjamin Hundeyin. The company has reported suspicious and unauthorized activities within its billings and payments infrastructure. After weeks of planning, coordinated enforcement operations were executed in October 2005 in Kano and Katsina State, with a follow-up arrest in the Federal Capital Territory, while the police also recovered substantial sums of money traced to the suspect's account, stressing that they would be charged to court upon completion of the investigation. The Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egwetekun, commended the officers involved for their professionalism and reiterated the force's commitment to safeguarding Nigeria's digital and financial ecosystems. Nigerian military has sustained robust security operations in Katsina State, with the forward operating base FOB Fast Carry recording notable successes against terrorists and other criminal elements across its area of responsibility. Commander FOB Fast Carry, Major Hassan D. Abubakar, said the base was established to counter the surge in terrorist and bandit activities in the northwest region and has remained pivotal to ongoing counter-terrorism efforts, adding that sustained offensive and clearance operations have led to the destruction of several terrorist camps, as well as reopening previously inaccessible farmlands and enabling residents to resume farming and commercial activities without fear of harassment. He further said improvised explosive device IED countermeasures have been placed across the area, with security arrangements constantly reviewed to respond to evolving threats. And troops remain resolute and focused on achieving their mandate of protecting lives, property, and critical supply routes.
Combat Team 4/FOB Faskari has continued to dominate its entire area of responsibility through sustained vehicles, motorcycles, and as well as foot patrols within the area of responsibility. The combat team has recorded numerous operational successes during the period under review. Notably among those were offensive and clearance operations conducted at terrorist camps located at Angonsamia, Ongorimi, Muha and Daji Forest, and Sabolai. Those locations previously served as terrorist safe havens. All for terrorists have now been cleared and made those accessible to farmers and law-abiding citizens. During those operations, a large number of motorcycles and assorted sophisticated weapons, where many terrorists were neutralized and their hideouts were destroyed in situ. Details of those successes were communicated and forwarded to appropriate superior authorities.
Speaking earlier, Commander Godwin Egbunu said the visit was aimed at giving first-hand insight into military operations across various theaters, including FOB Fast Carry, to ensure accurate and balanced reporting of security efforts nationwide.
Here with me are 18 defense correspondents selected from different media houses. A similar composition of about 4 other teams are in different locations. We have come to appreciate you and also hear what you are doing, and you have been able to reel out some of your achievements and successes. We are aware that this terrain is unpredictable and could be volatile at any time. So we won't want to dwell too much in the theoretical or the academic part of what you are doing.
Progressives Governors Forum has called for transparent and coordinated management of party congresses ahead of the forthcoming national convention. The chairman of the forum and Imo Governor Hope Uzodinma made the call while presenting a communique after a meeting with APC leadership in Abuja, adding that transparency, consistency and accountability must guide every stage to strengthen trust and credibility within the party. He stressed on responsible leadership, clear communication and collective discipline as essential to strengthening public confidence in their party's democratic processes, and also reaffirmed PGF's commitment to deepening internal democracy, strengthening party structures and advancing reforms promoting transparency, accountability and inclusiveness nationwide. He also said the governors welcomed a briefing on the national e-registration and digital membership update by the APC national chairman, adding that the initiative would enhance data-driven planning, improve demographic insights and strengthen grassroots engagement across communities. He said the governors endorsed the timetable and institutional framework approved by the party's National Executive Committee, NEC, for upcoming congresses and the convention, and commended the party leadership under National Chairman Professor Nentawe Yewada for guiding the process while calling for strategic engagement and state visits to reinforce grassroots structures and party cohesion. And that's the global news for tonight. Before we go and look at the major stories. Edo State government to train 800 youths on digital skills. Senate probes failing railway operations. Federal government budgets 13 billion naira for arms procurement. Federal government distributes free seeds, fertilizer to farmers. Kyiv receives 1,000 bodies from Russia. CAF rejects Morocco's protest against Senegal. Court remands Angela for allegedly defaming Mercy Johnson. I am Favor. Chief Question Michael. Thank you for watching. You can follow us on social media handles on Twitter, now X, as Atlantic Television Network. On Facebook and YouTube at Atlantic Television Network, and on Instagram at Atlantic TV Network. And don't forget peace and unity are the pathways to progress. To have a wonderful night rest.